Hello and welcome to another episode of the Modern Day Dojo. My name is Larry Koyman and I am super excited for this week's episode. We are going to be focusing on why rank is holding your athletes back. Yes, statement of truth here that nobody cares about your rank and they care about your impact. So here's the thing. If we as coaches focus on rank and titles, our students will too. And when the belt becomes the goal, when it becomes more important than the journey, we're not building martial artists anymore. We're building people just looking for souvenirs. So today we're going to be diving deep into the belt systems. We're going to be diving deep into what we can do to help focus on the journey rather than just the stripes or the titles. Now, I believe this is an important conversation because as coaches, if we are able to switch the culture from focusing on the stripes and the belts, if we're able to focus on the lessons, focus on the benefits of training, our students are going to be more skillful, but they're also going to be able to take the lessons that we teach on a day-to-day basis inside of our classes and actually apply them to their day-to-day lives, which is ultimately going to make them more successful, which is going to ultimately get them to the goals that they wanted when they first started training with you. So I hope today, after this episode, you will take an introspective look at what you're doing at your school, what you're doing in your gym and how it affects your students, and then come up with an action point or two to be able to focus on. That way you can create change and transform your dojo into a modern day dojo focused on the benefits of training and the skill obtained rather than just the ranks and the titles and the stripes that you get along the way. Now, the culture that we create in our gyms starts with us. It all flows downhill. It starts with your instructors. It starts with the owner, the one who is in charge of your school. You set the pace. You are the chief emotion officer. You are the one that is in charge of creating the culture in your gym. You have to make sure that you are setting the expectations with your students and emphasizing the value that goes into training in the martial arts. You have to set the pace for your students. Now, sometimes the owner is not the one teaching day to day. Sometimes you are the one that are teaching your instructors. So it's important that you teach them the value of the journey. If we celebrate rank, our students will celebrate the rank. If we celebrate the effort, the growth, the self-discipline that goes into training, they're going to focus on the journey. And think about it, how much we emphasize our stripes, how much we emphasize the belts. Our students are looking at this. They're looking at the glorification of instructors, the titles that we get. How many of our brand new students want to become sensei someday, sifu, want to become chogenim, kwanjanim master? A lot of them want to. And it's a normal process. It's a normal process to want the esteem, to want the respect that comes along with the rank. However, when they just focus on that, they're going to miss a whole bunch of the point. They're going to miss the whole point. Honestly, let's be honest. They're going to miss the purpose of training in the first place. Our ranks, our titles, the stripes on our belt are not there to glorify us. I want you to really listen to that. Our ranks and our titles are not there to glorify us. They're there to demonstrate and articulate the level of responsibility that we have to those who are going behind us. The students, the instructors that are coming up, we have a responsibility to them. And the more we can change our culture to really elevate that principle, to demonstrate that amongst our students, amongst the parents that are in there watching, if we can articulate that The titles that we have just means that I have more responsibility to help you along your path and the goals that you set for yourself. That is going to attract people into the martial arts. And instead, what we have is, I think, we have a culture inside of the martial arts community where we focus a lot on, hey, this is our title, a master. We have instructors that are just more focused on getting to that rank so they can earn that title, rather than getting to that rank so they can have more responsibility to help those around us. And that's what martial arts should be. That's what I believe it should be. So a critical question for coaches is, what do you want your students to take with them after they leave your school? A belt or a real skill? I want you to think of a student earns a black belt but lacks confidence. Is that real success? I mean, think about it. How many students earn a black belt in schools? Maybe it's your school. To be honest, maybe it's my school. How many students earn a black belt but lack confidence in the real world, that don't know how to use their voice appropriately? As in, they don't know how to stick up for themselves. They don't know how to set boundaries, or they don't have the applicable skills of a black belt, but yet they have the success, the belt. I see a lot of it, and I think you do too. Versus a student who struggles, who fights through challenges, who never quits. See, success isn't in the rank. It's in the character that's built. I think we've lost a little bit of that epiphany, that magic that's in the training, that's in the class. So I think that we need to get back to focusing on the journey and the benefits that are through the process, not just in the obtaining of a rank. I think as instructors, as teachers, as practitioners even, the belt chase is our fault. We accidentally created this problem. Students get caught up in the rank race. It's the focus, the grind on coming to class to get to the next stripe so you can earn enough stripes to get to the next test. It's plastered on our walls as schools. We are a black belt school. We value and elevate the rank instead of the learning, instead of the skills learned along the way. Training in classes becomes about passing a test and not mastering a technique. I mean, think about how the lessons that we teach have lasting effect on a child's life. Think about the physical things that we do. And I think great instructors know how to pair this and how to teach this and know how to articulate this. I was just talking to one of our instructors today, and we were talking about footwork drills. And the question was asked, well, you know, some of our students are still a little bit loose. They're not doing very well. And I said, listen, it's not about the drills that we teach. It's about holding them accountable. Holding kids accountable to our lessons is the value that's in our lessons. We're talking about keeping a tight frame when you're ready to perform a technique. Talking about being engaged. My body is engaged. It's ready to take action. And I'm seeing lots of kids still standing straight up, not really engaged, sitting in the pocket. They're just standing, kind of there. They're not engaged. They're disengaged. I was talking about how life, if we don't prepare and are ready to take action, life will pass us by. That's a lesson that I think lots of kids need to understand, that when challenges are in front of us, we engage those challenges. We don't passively let them come up to us and pass us by. When we engage, we can grow. And those are the lessons that we really teach. The kicks, the punches, the throws, the chokes, the holds, all those things are really cool. But it's how we pair those lessons with the real world effects that's really going to make all the difference in the world. So I think the joy of martial arts fades when the process becomes transactional, when we are focused on, hey, do this to earn this. You need to do 3 blocks to earn this stripe. You need to learn this kata to earn this stripe. Congratulations, you've earned your next belt. The process is very transactional. It would be like an athlete who only plays for the championship ring, but never really develops a love for the sport, never really enjoys it. How many pro athletes do we see like this? College athletes, they're in it for the love. You watch them, they love that. They love the game. They love the sport. And once they get that big contract, boom, love goes away. It's sad. And we don't want to develop students like that. Or it's like a student who studies just for the grades, but doesn't retain any of the knowledge that came with learning it. That's sad. And you think about, how many people have degrees that are never going to find a meaningful career in their field because they just have the degree. They got the degree. Maybe their family put a lot of pressure on them to get the degree. But now all they have is a bunch of debt and they're in a career that they don't enjoy. And that's sad. So we don't want the martial arts to be another one of those things. So the question for coaches is, are we building martial artists or just a running conveyor belt of promotions? I know promotions serve a purpose inside of the school. Yes, as a business, it's a revenue generating event. But I believe if we're giving a valuable service and teaching, remember, I've talked about curriculum development before, and I said everything that we do has to be something useful. Is it useful? If we're doing something that is useful within the martial arts school, that is developing a good skill, a good habit, preparing them for real life, then yes, absolutely charge for it. Absolutely. I think you absolutely should. But if we're not giving that value, it's just a conveyor belt. It's just another way for you to transactionally take payment, give belt. And we don't want to be like that. It should be eagerly wanting to pay you for your time and your services if you're developing and providing an amazing skill, if you are giving benefit to their life, pouring value into their child. That's what we need to be doing. So what do we need to be teaching instead? Martial arts is really about adaptability, perseverance, problem solving, mindset. Yes, it's about developing martial arts skill. The best martial artists aren't the ones with the most stripes. They're the ones who never stop learning. They're the ones who always have this student mindset. So I think that as we are running our gyms, we need to take an active stock of the environment, of our culture, and we need to start shifting the focus in our martial arts gyms to celebrate effort over achievement, to praise hard work, discipline, consistency in training, to be the things that we're really focusing on, because those are the things that are going to benefit them in real life. Yes, a punch is going to be great. A kick is going to be great. Absolutely. Learning a new choke or a throw, self-defense technique. Absolutely. Those are going to be beneficial 100%. But teaching our students the value of hard work, that growth only comes through it's just past the discomfort. Growth is only achieved through discomfort. That having the self-discipline to attend class, even when you don't want to, even when you have things that you would rather do, growing as a person, growing your self-discipline is doing the things sometimes you don't want to do, but they need to be done. The have tos versus the want tos. And the consistency in showing up, the consistency in putting in 110% effort every single time, the consistency of putting in all you got. That is what gets you to the prize. That's what gets you to growth and development. Developing a strong mindset and character, that is why we train. Teaching our kids how to have a self-assessment mechanism to be able to teach them that, listen, I'm going to assess where I'm at. Where's my energy level? Where is my output level? What's my mindset at? What state am I in? I think getting students to set personal goals outside of the martial arts school is an exceptionally valuable way to start showing them, A, goal setting, but B, how it's the journey. It's the process in getting you to your desired goal. And then once you get there, set a bigger goal. That the process never stops. The process is never over. That it's the steps that we take along the way, the lessons that we take, the relationships that we build and forge along the way, that's the benefit. That's the prize. We make the journey matter more than the destination. And we've heard it before. We've all heard it. I just think that when we hear things, sometimes when we go along and we look at the industry, it's just kind of, this is the cookie cutter way that we do things. You have white belt, yellow belt, orange belt, and so on and so on and so on, stripes along the way. You earn a test, congratulations, you move on. We are a black belt school on our wall, and that becomes kind of like the norm. The goal is we need to break outside of that cookie cutter mold. And we need to really examine what we do as a martial arts industry. And we need to say, how can we create a bigger impact? How can we make a bigger difference in the lives of the kids around us, in our communities? How can we impact the parents that are watching class? Every one of those classes is an opportunity. Every person that walks into your school is an opportunity to impact. And I believe that deeply. We make the journey matter. We show them that the journey matters. We can create things that happen inside of our gym that are challenges that aren't even tied to belts. Think about what we could do with teaching them how to make healthy life choices. Maybe we teach them to give up sugar for an entire month. How much more healthier do you think we would be building our athletes? What habits would we be giving them that would help them develop an athlete mindset? It's one of the reasons why I call our students athletes. I want them to understand and develop a mindset that they are an athlete, to treat their bodies, to treat their minds like an athlete. What if we created a challenge inside of our school to no screen time for a week? I know some students would lose their minds, and let's be honest, some parents would too. But if we challenge them to get off of a screen and pick up a book, pick up something that is going to help feed and grow their mind, I think we can make massive differences in our school and teach parents the real benefit of training. The real benefit of being in your school is not the kicks and the punch that we teach them. It's the journey that is feeding them skills, that is challenging their beliefs, that is helping them adopt healthy habits that are going to benefit their lives inside and outside of the dojo and make them an example to the people around them. And it's exciting when you think about the opportunities that we have if we just stretch our thinking just a little bit. We have to think about too, like when we promote students, if a student isn't progressing in their skills and abilities but gets promoted anyways, what message are we actually sending to them? What message are we teaching? They can train, they can go through stuff, but they don't grow in skill. But here's the belt anyways. You've put in the amount of classes. You have a good attitude. Here's a belt. Is that helping or is that hurting our students in life? And do the parents notice that? This is where I believe martial arts starts becoming more of an entertainment activity versus an educational activity versus something that's going to push their growth. Look at sports. There are parents that are die hard every season putting their kid in travel ball or competitive sports not because of the ranks. They don't earn a rank in football. They don't earn ranks in baseball or soccer. There's no stripes. There's no belts. It's because it challenges them to be a better version every time they walk off of the field. And that should be our goal as a martial arts gym, is to make our students better than they were when they came into our school. And ranks and the stripes have absolutely nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, I tell our instructors, I teach my students that your rank is only there to let me know as your teacher where you need to learn, what you need to grow in. It's a guide of where you're at on your path. And it lets me know to give you what you need to grow. That's exciting. To me, I look at that and say, the belt really doesn't matter. And ask yourself, really, really think about this. If you stopped giving out belts in your school tomorrow, if you said there's no more belt ranks in our school, no more stripes, no more belts, no more nothing, would your students still show up? Would they still attend classes? And if you think you'd have a mass exodus of students at that point, then I think you need to take an introspective look at the culture inside your gym. And if you're producing quality martial artists or just students that are searching for the symbols of martial arts rather than the substance. The industry, I think, is obsessed with titles. And I think it's hurting us. I think it's really doing a disservice to the process. Martial arts marketing is broken. We see, even now, I see people marketing about how many, 8th degree instructor this, or 3-time world champion this, former world champion 1970, who cares? Your ranks and your titles do not demonstrate the benefits that you bring to the table. Remember, when you're marketing your martial arts school, it's about what's in it for them. Does your rank prove that you were qualified to teach them? If the answer was yes, then only the highest ranks would have the highest amounts of students. But that's not what happens. Sometimes the brand new first degree black belt just promoted, they're the ones that have these amazing schools because they're highly energetic and motivated to create a massive impact in their community, and they can articulate the benefits of martial arts beyond their first degree belt, beyond how many trophies they have in their window. They become focused on the benefits, on the journey, rather than the titles, the esteem, their ego. Too many schools, I believe, promote rank and titles instead of a quality instruction. They chase the prestige. They chase the honor of the rank rather than focusing on creating great students. And the downside of this title obsession that we have is that rank matters more than skill. And then when that happens, our communities, the art itself, the martial arts suffer. And we create this atmosphere of these self-absorbed people running around in PJs, obsessed about the color of what's around their belt, and it hurts the martial arts community as a whole. I think it hurts our ability to reach people on a level that is meaningful. So I challenge you, if you are a gym that is looking at, is taking a serious look at what you're doing and saying, man, if I stopped giving out ranks tomorrow, would my students still stay? If we eliminated all titles, would people care? I would challenge you to look at how you're speaking and the marketing and your website and the culture within your school. Do you want to be the coach with the highest rank? Or do you want to be the one who creates the most skilled, disciplined, and empowered students? So some practical steps that you could be taking right now is start rewarding progress beyond the belts. Think about things that you can reward that are outside of the belt striping process. Have conversations with your students about the real world purpose of training, about what are the actual benefits you get. If you are a skilled instructor, you know how to pair life skills with your physical skills. You know how to take the focus of being able to deliver a punch and demonstrate how that same focus and that same precision and that same effort goes behind their schoolwork, goes behind how they do their chores, how they clean their room, how they approach anything in life with the intent of doing it to the best of their ability, to be able to have the economy of motion, to be able to be efficient in their output. Those are benefits that are going to last a long time past the floor, past your dojo, past your gym. Those are things that are going to benefit them on a level that will go decades into the future. And I think probably one of the most important things that we can do as instructors right now is we can continue our own training, continue our own learning, our evolution within the martial arts, and show our students the value of our own growth over the hierarchy, over the ranks, over the titles that we have. Does that mean put on a white belt and walk on the floor? Well, maybe if you want. Or maybe that just means just get on the floor and train. Show your students that it's okay to struggle, that you're still working through your evolution as a martial artist as well too. And that, hey, I'm getting older, so I need to train. I need to focus on my health. I need to focus on developing my skill. Why? Because it's about the pursuit of the skill, not the title, not the stripes. So I ask, what is one thing that you can change in your approach this week to help your students focus on their journey over their rank? What is one thing that you can implement? I always say that you take action when you're inspired, and hopefully listening to this podcast, you took an introspective look at what you're doing, at what's happening in your school, and you could say, listen, I think that I could absolutely start praising the consistency in training. I can praise the effort rather than the prize. But we can start doing that, man. We can start having massive impacts in our schools, in our communities. Because let's be honest, stripes fade, and belts wear out. Titles don't mean anything outside of your school, but the lessons, the mindset, and the growth that you get through training, that lasts forever. That's real. That's where the benefit is. So the real question is what are we really teaching? So reflect on this episode. Share your thoughts. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. I want to hear it. The goal is to create a conversation between people who are passionate in the martial arts, that want to improve the martial arts and evolve from the past into a modern day dojo to where they can make massive changes, influence, and impact their communities on a level that we deserve to be. Please follow the podcast if you aren't already. And if you haven't, jumped over to our Facebook page and follow us there, and be on the lookout for our YouTube channel. Again, I am blessed and honored that you choose to listen and share your time with me today. I hope this helps you create a culture within your martial arts school that benefits your students, your parents, and your community. I am honored, and I can't wait to see you inside of the next episode.